Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey guys, welcome to Giggly Squad.
A place where we make fun of everything, but most importantly, ourselves.
I'm Paige DeSorbo.
I'm Hannah Berner.
Welcome to the squad.
Giggly Squad started on Summer House when we were giggling during an inappropriate time.
But of course, we can't be managed.
So we decided to start this podcast to continue giggling.
We will make fun of pop culture news,
we're watching,
fashion trends, pep talks where we give advice,
mental health moments,
and games and guests.
Listen to Giggly Squad on Acast or wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
Hello, and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And today we are back with the Love is Blind Season 10 reunion. And Brooke, I have a very important question for you.
Yes.
As an attorney, when you go to have dinner with new people, do you like to set the mood by cross-examining them? Did you catch that?
Yeah, and he was right.
What, the dad?
Alex? No, Alex, when he said your dad cross-examined me.
Yes. But she's like, he was setting the mood. He was just setting the mood. I'm like,
yeah, no. That's not a mood. That's not a mood anybody wants, to be cross-examined.
No one's going to invite you anywhere, whatever. I forgot his name already. Paul. Yeah, no one. That's how you set a mood. But see, it's just, I do think there's also something a bit entitled about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm the lawyer, I'm the dad, I'm going to sit down. And with Ashley too, I'm his little girl. Like, I don't know.
I was going to comment on that. I was offended by I'm his little girl.
Yeah.
And then it was the same thing like with Brittany and her dad.
Yeah.
Because, her dad is way too involved in this. And I remember seeing a clip. I don't know where this was, but anyway, I don't know if it was on TikTok or something. Someone had asked him, of course, he's giving interviews. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone asked him, well, how were you so sure that Devontae was right for your daughter? It seemed like you barely talked to him. And he was talking about how, well, they didn't show the 2-hour conversation that we had where I basically, grilled him. I don't think he used those words, but he did the same thing that Paul did in just a more drawn out fashion. And I'm just like, these are grown women and these fathers need to back off, because can you imagine our father?
Oh my God. Dad?
He's sort of like,
he doesn't say anything. He just is like, all right, this is who you picked. All right.
Yeah. You want to get married? Okay. I mean, it's like, as long as there's nothing awful happening, you're not being abused. I mean, that's the thing. This daddy's little girl, and Brittany very much does that daddy's little girl. And her parents have enabled her. They have encouraged and perpetuated her stupid dream and the dress and the this and the that. she'll marry anybody. She'll marry a potted plant. She was going to marry Devontae.
Yeah,
a man
she
who
was gonna
couldn't stand her, who didn't want to have sex with her, who didn't want to even like be around her.
Introduce her to his mother.
Right. No,
You know?
I mean, that is pathetic. And I think that Ashley's pathetic too, because same thing. Like she,
Ooh, we're just getting right into it.
well, this really bothered me because it's like, this is not women's independence. It's Women's History Month, for God's sake.
Yes, that is true. That's true.
This is not a good look for women. You know what? It's called boundaries. You have boundaries with your parents. I mean, these women are in their late 20s, early 30s. Your father should not be so involved in this. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
sorry.
No, it's okay. I did notice something with this reunion that kind of bothered me. That was, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of hate for all of this, but like, it really bothered me. There was a lot of like, someone would, Amber would say some sort of women empowering and men are jokes, and then everyone claps.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It becomes this thing of, well, this isn't helping anyone. Like,
no.
Villainizing these guys, like calling Chris a douchebag over and over again. Is he a douchebag? Is he insecure? Probably. Yeah, he is. And he showed up and he apologized and he kept his mouth shut. That was the smartest thing that he could have done. Right. Do I like this person? No, I don't. And the way Jessica handled him, the way she dealt with him, I think was excellent. She set boundaries. She was like, no, it's fine. She didn't want to say anything mean, but she was like, she didn't call him a douchebag. But we don't need the clapping and the reinforcement of this. Men treat women like shit, and then women get their revenge by the big speech at the reunion or the wedding altar, and then we all clap, and that's women's empowerment or that's women's liberation or whatever it is. It's like this is all people in relationships, and yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but I agreed with Vanessa Lachey. I do believe that that it's a vulnerability issue. Alex has a vulnerability problem. And it's not that he's dishonest. It's not that he is intentionally lying. He cannot be vulnerable. And that comes across
unhealed childhood trauma.
And because he has unhealed childhood trauma, and because he somewhere along the way found out, if I'm confident and have an answer for everything, even if it doesn't feel, even if it's rehearsed, even if I don't know, then I will be loved and accepted. I will be safe. I will be okay. We all have these things that we do, whether it's people pleasing or abandonment issue. Like, we all have our things. And listen, was he fuzzy on some of the details? Were things happening? Like, again, I don't know.
Maybe not.
But I don't think he's an overall liar. I think what Chris did was radically different than what Alex did. Radically different.
No, and oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say radically different than what he did. And that it comes from this deep, I mean, Chris does too, but it comes from this deep wound. And and I think Vanessa was the one who was like, do you think it's vulnerability? But again, trying to beat it out of Alex to be different. It's like, no, he's not ready to hear these things. Alex is not ready to hear these things. Alex is defensive about it. Great. Let's all leave him alone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Amber acted like a fool. She has no business commenting on other people's relationships. Hello, Amber. Stay in your lane. You have your own issues. And we'll get to Amber because I think she's a joke. And, I can't believe I used to like her. But she acted a fool. Ashley acted a fool. Who else? I think those were the main two, really. And it's just like, you know what? Just because things didn't work out, with your man, you don't need to comment on these other people's relationships. I think it felt mean to me, even to Chris. Okay.
Yes.
Look, Chris is somebody's son. Okay. He's someone's brother. He's up there. They're calling him a douchebag. And, like, it's not cool. It's not cool. And you want us to take this show seriously. You want us to take you seriously, you people, you contestants, whatever. You're not helping your case.
No.
Those two really, I don't know. And Ashley, the reason why she's so paranoid about Alex and thinks that he's always lying to her is because clearly she has had a string of relationships where people have cheated on her. And guess what? Remember how in the pods she led with sex? That's all she talked about with Alex was sex, 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 and got him all horned up. And so he picks her and, you know, they have some sex in Mexico, but really he's not attracted to her, turns out. And then she turns to this thing where she's just constantly questioning him and every little thing's got to fit in here and fit in. Look, if you grilled me about my history and where I lived and what year and where I've been and this and that, well, I mean, in my earlier years, right now I've lived here for 28 years. I can tell you like what I've been doing. But yeah, when you're young and you're moving around, you're going from here to there. And I mean, it's just, she's the one with the problem and Amber's the one with the problem, not these guys. Really.
Yeah. I mean,
I have a soft spot for Alex. I really do. I don't know why.
If you have not heard, Brooke watched his podcast with his mom.
Yes, and I was almost in tears. I mean, I have a soft spot for wounded,
wounded men. Yes.
Yeah, you can call me out on it. I don't care.
Yeah, and I it's just, oh God, I don't know. It's just all of it is. It's a lot. Like, listen, I asked Steve a question this morning. He's like, we talked about this yesterday. I'm like, we did?
Oh, you know, I mean, I do that all the time.
I can't remember anything. And yes, if he's someone who's, it sounds like he's traveling a lot, he's piecing things together. I listen to people's stories all day long. And I can tell you when it feels like someone is not being completely truthful and when it doesn't feel right. It's not usually about where the places that they go. It's unnecessary details. It's things that don't ring true. There's things that don't match with how they are. It's that stuff. And Alex did try to allude to that. And Ashley would not. See, that's the other part. Ashley was not willing to own the fact that maybe she projected some of her issues with trust onto Alex.
Right.
So, and she was never willing to own that.
Yeah, you know she has a bad picker because she leads with sex and then she attracts these men that just want to have sex with her and don't really want to be serious with her, including Alex, you know, to a certain degree. I mean, I think that's what happened there too. How well did they really get to know each other? I mean, it was like sex talk and then Alex talking about, I want to go here and do that and live here and live that. And Ashley just flat out lied and was like, oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm up for being nomadic. Sure. And then they get out of the pods and she's like, I'm not going to do that.
Well, did she ever say no, she wasn't going to do it?
No, she didn't say it but she might as well have. She said it by, you know, her actions and indirectly. But, you know, she was not, he was talking about, well, where should we go? And this and that. And she, you know, she was just either silent or she would deflect. Whenever he would bring up, well, should we go to Arizona or Florida? You know, she'd bring up, well, where were you living before you came to the pods? And what you told me that you were in Austin in November of last year. And now I find out you were there in October. You know, I mean, it just she just flipped the script and it became all about that. Who gives a shit?
You know, you're right about her leading with sex. Cause I think that, you know, Ashley they kept calling her Barbie, you know, Barbie bride. And I think that in her world, she's the most beautiful one. She's the one that, you know, turns the heads. And I'm sure they all say, Ashley, you're so beautiful. How is it that you don't have the perfect man yet? And again, looks and attractiveness has nothing to do with whether or not you're going to partner up. I think people often think like, you know, if you're attractive enough, it's like, yeah, Ashley could get a boyfriend. But anyway, I think that she is used to that role. And I think that, she leads with it. And I think what happened with Alex was, I don't think Alex was that interested in her. And I think she felt that slipping away and was like, oh crap, I got to pull that back in because this is what validates me. This is what validates me. And she could feel that. And then my guess would be is like, the more she grilled him, the more he pulled away, the more she walked towards him and wanted him and the sexual stuff. So he kept pulling away. There were several things that he was pulling away from. And she is now lumping all that together as this guy's a terrible person, or he's a liar, or he's a charlatan, or whatever it is. And that's I think a far stretch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
Sorry. I just got real fired up.
Yeah. Well, we got to start with the good.
Yes. Well, first of all, they had 150 former, they called them participants,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people who were on Love is Blind. And then the people who were still together as couples got the front row seat. There weren't that many.
Yeah.
They kept flashing to different people. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what's that person's name? Oh, who's that? It was kind of weird.
Yeah, because you kind of, it takes a minute to like put the face together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Oh, that's Ben from Sarah and Ben. But Sarah's now with Joey. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened, I guess. But
yes.
Yeah. So we start with the one success story.
We start and end with these two. They milked Vic and Christine till the bitter end.
They had to do something special for these two, because without them,
this would be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. There's not much to say. She moved to Columbus to be with him because, you know, he works at the university there.
And, that makes sense.
Yeah. I can't remember. What does she do? I mean, she's a speech pathologist.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she could probably get a job at, you know,
anywhere.
And, you know, he said that, you know, home is now actually a home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said all the right things. You know,
life is just perfect. It's just great. They're so happy. She talked to her dad.
Yeah.
She
reunited with her dad.
Yeah. And, you know, Vic went with her and sat in the car, which was incredibly kind. But yeah, they're just in love. They're just happy. Can be.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say?
What can you say? If anything happens to these two, please, we have to protect them.
Yes. But Christine did say that, you know, when I told my friends I was going on this reality show, they said, oh, you're the most boring reality person. And it's true. She is, because they're so goddamn normal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's them. I don't know what else to say. I barely write anything down. I'm just like.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to them at the end because they get a little surprise at the end. But so then we move on to Jordan and Amber.
Oh, God. Oof.
What a train wreck.
Yeah. Well, it was already known, right? We've talked about this, that they only were together a couple months, 4 months, and then broke up. But, ooh, boy, this is a lot nastier and deeper. Do you know what I mean? I didn't expect it to go in these directions. I was like, ooh, there's a lot more to this story.
Yeah. Well, I had seen some stuff on social media that this was before the reunion, that he had said that her drinking was a problem. And we saw one little glimpse of that when they got in that one fight. But now we hear more about, and I think he didn't really want to, you know, say the extent of it. But if you just take what he did say and you extrapolate that, doesn't sound good. And he said that she just has trust issues and he can't repair that. They never moved in together. You know, he said he wasn't ready. I guess they were supposed to say no. Like they had agreed to say no, and she surprised him and said yes. And then he went on AD's podcast. I think it came out today. And he told her that he basically, when he was standing there at the altar waiting for her, he was there for like 20 minutes. And the whole time, little Emma is sitting in the front row staring at him. And he said he just didn't feel like he could say no.
Oh, God.
At that point, you know, and I mean, yeah, not good.
Yeah. Well, so we learned that Jordan, I guess, never moved in. They never moved in together. Jordan kept his place in Columbus. And Amber's big issue was she started off by saying that he was, he seemed to, I guess it sounds like they only saw each other on the weekends. It sounds like they saw each other maybe 24 hours a week. Yeah. I mean, 24, in a one day. And
he said he was in Columbus 5 to 6 nights a week.
Yeah. So I think he was there like Saturday night to Sunday or maybe a Monday. But yeah, I think that her big thing was that he's off partying with his friends, doing this, doing that. And I don't know. This is the thing. I don't think he was intentionally choosing to party with his friends or to go out to the bars. I think that he didn't want to leave Columbus, and he was, again, digging his heels into that. And this is his life. He goes out in the evenings. I don't think it was intentional, but again, this is on both of them. They both knew this distance. If Jordan, you knew she had a kid, Jordan. So you needed to say something about this. Like, I'm with you, but I do think that there's a lot of it. I think that Amber wanted Jordan to compromise on, she really wanted him to move there. And I guess he just didn't want to do it.
No, he said he wasn't ready. And she kind of wanted him to commute, because she said her commute was an hour. So why can't he, commute an hour to Columbus? This is on both of them, but I think even more on Amber, because she has a child.
Yeah.
Like, you do not do this unless you are both on the same page. You are both. He's like, yes, absolutely. I'm going to move into your house immediately. No question about it. I mean, I think we said last week, like, people with children probably shouldn't go on this show.
Yeah. And
it's just detrimental.
And he does say that that Amber was weaponizing Emma. And I'm like, yeah, she kind of is, because Amber, you're the one with the child. You chose to come on the show. You sat down with this guy. He said he was concerned about kids. Like, this was one of his turnoffs. You continue to date him. You went through all of this. He told you he didn't want to live in Mount Vernon.
Right.
I do understand there's an excitement where everyone gets caught up in the excitement of things, but he was not really hiding anything from you. It didn't feel like this guy was hiding anything from you, and you are the parent, and the buck stops with you, and it's on you to make the decisions and decide if, are you going to put your kid through this? And also, you also made the decision to not introduce him until the day before the weddings. Like, there's all these things that are like, you can't then keep saying, well, that's the producers. I'm like, but you're the parent. You needed to say, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah. And he also told AD that, he didn't, because she made a big deal about how he didn't even say goodbye to Emma. And apparently that week that they broke up or whatever, Emma was at her dad's house. And he's like, well, what was I supposed to do? Go pick her up from her dad's house and tell her that, I'm never going to see you again. I mean, you can't put that on him. She's putting all this stuff on him that, no, Amber, that's your responsibility. You can't, if you want him to say goodbye to your child, then you make arrangements for that. If you think that's what's necessary, don't like come back after the fact and throw that in his face.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's my issue with her, was just like this negativity of men and calling Chris a douchebag and all this. And I'm like, again, Jordan didn't lie to you. He's been pretty open, he's been open with you about what, his concerns and his issues. And it does sound like she is not a good drunk. I mean, it sounds like, because he says he was the best man at a wedding. So that means he has a lot of responsibilities. I guess she didn't come to the service. That's fine. Maybe she had to work, but that she got blackout drunk, wanted to drive home. He took her car keys. She then went, and then she got an Uber and went all the way back to Mount Vernon.
Well, after she passed out at the table.
Yeah. So, and then she's mad at him. And when you hear the story, you don't hear anything on her side saying, I'm really embarrassed by that. I'm sorry. I'm right. There's like no ownership. And again, this is, it goes both ways.
Yeah. And he also said that, she was screaming at him, and that she was disrespectful, wouldn't show up for things. He just said it was not a healthy relationship. And, Amber said that she admits she has anger issues. but she was willing to go to counseling to work on it. But apparently he told AD that it wasn't until like after he had said, I can't do this, and had pretty much left. She's like, oh, well, I'll go to counseling. And it's like, well, it was too late at that point. And then Amber just, storms off the set again. This is it's like, whoa. I mean,
it's like a Real Housewife moment.
Yeah. And she's like, don't fucking come into somebody's life. If you're going to do that, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that was dramatic. I mean,
well, and again, this man did not land on your doorstep. You know what I mean? Like
him.
You picked him, you picked each other, and you continued to pick him. Again, it's a small window of time, but it's enough time that, to know, and you to know if he's being honest with you, if he's being truthful. And yeah, now I'm defending Jordan. Now I feel kind of bad for the guy.
Well, yeah, I've always felt kind of bad for him because Amber is, she's too much. And I know that's one of her complaints that, men always said she was too much, but it's like too much in a bad way, not too much in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
you can be too much in a good way, and that's fine. But getting drunk and yelling at people and passing out and screaming and, all these antics, it's like, no, like, and how much of this was her child seeing and feeling, even if she, wasn't there when it happened, she's feeling it.
Yeah.
The tension in the house of, the 5 to 6 days he's not there and she's seething, and, Yeah. Yeah. No, she wanted him to just sort of fit into her life and slide right in. Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to be able to drink and, yell or be mad and not have consequences, and him be okay about it the next day. And, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I felt badly for him because, he should have had the courage to just say no to begin with. But
yeah.
He looked really, he just looked so defeated, and it didn't, he didn't feel good about any of this, and, probably did wish he would have just said no.
Probably. I'm sure. For sure. All right. And then we get this segment where we have to watch Gigi and AD in the audience interviewing people.
Yeah.
And like was the first segment of them just introducing people?
Well, they talked to Kia and Tyler.
Oh, that's right.
I can't remember even what they said, but
Kia had an awakening. Kia, they're living their best lives. What's his face I didn't see what's his face anywhere near there.
Yeah, Kayvon, however you say it. I saw him in the background, but they never went to him with the microphone.
And those two are so over him. So, they're just living their best lives. Kia's learned a lot about herself and la, la, la.
And then Cameron is there of Lauren and Cameron. And she just had a baby, so she wasn't there. But it was very sweet. You said they tried to have a baby for 4 years. And, they're just very happy. The original Love is Blind couple.
The first ones with the reveal, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy for them.
Going strong.
All right. Well, now we're going to move over to Connor and Bree.
Well, wait a minute. First,
what did
Amber comes back.
Oh, that's right. This is where it's the douchebag section. Sorry.
Right. She comes back out and tells us again how she's had a lot of bad relationships. And Emma, the, contestant, says Amber in the pods was a man hater.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting comment.
Yeah.
I guess, hates everybody else's man. And that's when Amber says to Chris, I still hate you. That's why I hate men. And then she calls him a douchebag. And it's like, oh my gosh, was she drinking when she went backstage for her little walk off? I mean, keep it together, Amber. What?
I don't know. And again, if if you have one bad relationship after another, even though they're all with men, you are the common denominator.
Right.
You are. So, and listen, as women, we don't want to be lumped in together. We don't want to say all women are like this or all women are like that. So we can't do it to men.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of this thing of, is there a bit of self-sabotage? You know, do you then fall in love with the guy who said that this is his big red flag is, you know, someone with a kid, you know, and then you lean in?
Yeah.
You lean into that. And again, I'm not saying Amber's that these are bad people. It's just like, there's still work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of work to be done on themselves.
Yeah. Amber is just right there on the edge. She's really...
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So now we can go to Bree and Connor.
Yes. So they are dun still together. And it sounds like they never stopped seeing each other. Right? I mean, it sounds like they kind of moved right from, I think once they broke up, they probably had to move out of that apartment, but it sounds like they just kind of moved, you know, just kind of moved on. And now he lives a couple doors down from her.
Yeah. He moved to Columbus. So what did he do with his house? Is he just...
Maybe he didn't own it.
No, he did own it.
No,
Remember? That was a big part of the story. Yeah. He owned his own home.
Well, maybe he's renting it out and now he is a land baron. Who knows?
Yeah. So, yeah, and then we have to cut to, you know, the Chris stuff and the clip of Chris saying how Bree is so hot. And Connor and Chris were best friends in the pod.
Yeah.
But Connor, you know, he has nothing to say to Chris. At least Connor can control himself and not.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone has a reason to be mad at Chris other than...
And maybe Bree and Chris. I mean, that was because she got some, you know, she got a lot of crap for how long she spent
indulging him,
having this conversation with him. So both of them. But again, I just don't think Connor, this is the thing that I'm going to tell you, Connor's a secure person. Connor is a secure person. Connor's like, if Bree's going to cheat on me, then she's going to cheat on me. There's nothing I can do. And I got to trust and believe that, hey, you know, and he's like, well, they were in the pods together. You know, he's going to give people the benefit of the doubt. And then I think he's like, oh, I guess that guy's not my friend. Okay, that's fine. He's not my friend. I'm going to move on. You know, Connor's just Connor. I love Connor.
Connor's just a down to earth guy. Yeah, he's salt of the earth. Yeah, I'm still concerned about Bree because I saw a video where someone intercut the stuff that Chris was saying to Bree in the pods about, oh, if you're with me, you'll never have to order. I'll make every reservation. I'll order dinner for you. I'm going to, you know, talking about how he's going to be this
alpha male.
And the exact same things that he was saying to her is what she was saying to Connor when she broke up with him.
Yeah.
Like, I want a guy who's going to order for me and, you know, do this and this and that. And I'm like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. I mean, I guess she snapped out of it and realized that, you know, she has a good guy there.
And Bree, you do talk a lot and you are, you know, it is. And he loves all of that about you. Like, I think she realized, you know, it's better to pick the person.
Her be her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better to pick that person than the one that you think is going to, you know, the one that's talking big. So.
Yeah. She says she wants to marry him.
Yeah, I guess they're in love. I don't know. I feel like Connor can do better, but okay, fine, Bree. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Connor's such a good guy. I just like him so much. I mean, I don't know. I just want her to be nice to him. She just needs to be nice to him because I feel like she wasn't nice to him. And that's what I want to see.
Exactly. And I feel like in this situation, she's the one who's insecure. Like, she's the one who's, you know, kind of won over by this alpha male stuff instead of just being just you do you, Bree. Like
Yeah.
you don't need someone to get you up at 6 a.m. to go to CrossFit or the gym or whatever. Because that was another thing. Chris was like, I'll make sure I'm going to push you and I'm going to get you up and we're going to go work out together. And I have a cold plunge at my house. And and she was eating that up in the pods.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's okay, Bree. Like, just, it's okay.
I think Bree is caught in the Instagram trap of, I think she wants to be like these posts on Instagram. Like, I got up and I hustled and it's Hustle Friday. And I truly believe that she wants to be the up at 5 a.m. working out, CrossFit, cold plunge kind of person. But you're not. And guess what? That's not, and guess what? Most people aren't. People can, no, I work with people all the time. There are very few people that can sustain that really can sustain that. And the other one too is I think she realized like, oh, I was aiming for the picture. And hopefully she figured out like, well, how do I feel when I'm with them? And I think she realized like, I feel good when I'm with Connor. I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel happy when I'm with him.
Right.
And that's what you want to go for. Your nervous system needs to be calm when you're home.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the problem with relationships and romance. If it's calm, there's not crazy sparks.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is true.
Psych Legal Pop. We'll be back after these messages.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
All right. And then we check in with Joey and Sarah. Now, they were from
Minneapolis.
Was that last year?
Oh, was it 2 years ago?
Or maybe 2 years ago. But I always thought it was
ago.
I think it was kind of those two together. I mean, they seem very happy, but I don't know. I guess I'm kind of surprised. I was always surprised.
Their energy is
different,
not matched or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But then there was Ben. I was like, oh, wait, there's Ben. He's right there next to her. He's just kind of like, I'm here.
Yeah. The guy who wasn't familiar with Black Lives Matter.
Yes. That's right.
Oh, Ben.
Ben,
that happened in the city
know
where
that
he lives.
Ben, do you know that people here in this country are racist? What? Black Lives Matter. All right. So then we have to go on to Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chris and Jessica thing. And I think that, and this is something else that bugged me, was this whole thing of Nick being like, as a man, as a man, once you do, none of that. I mean, yes, you need to ask him the questions, but yelling at like shaming someone, being like, I'm a man and you're not, none of that's going to open this guy up and want to talk to you at all. And, again, Chris has already kind of buried himself. He already has. We've seen the videos. Like, I am not saying that his behavior towards Jessica and these other women that we've seen is okay. I'm just saying that if you wanted to get answers from him, this is not the way to do it.
No. And I feel like, you notice how normally Vanessa is the one who's a little more aggressive in these reunions. It feels like Nick was like, this is my year, this is my
we're in Ohio.
Because we're in Ohio. This is my home state and I know these toxic masculinity traits. I know this. Step aside.
Step aside, Vanessa. I got this one.
Yeah, he really, tore Chris a new one.
Oh no. But Chris apologizes to Connor, and again, what can he do at this point? I mean,
nothing. He did the right thing. He said nothing.
He said nothing, and that was probably that was the right thing. He apologized. He didn't do the but. He did. I mean, I give him credit for that. He did the right apology. Just said it and didn't say anything else. I mean, he did the best that he could have done in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was surprised how quickly they moved on from that because Chris didn't really give him anything. I mean, he must have had some crisis management counseling.
He's been working with a PR team.
That's right. They're like, just don't say anything. If you don't say anything, they can't use it against you. So just apologize, say I was wrong, apologize to Connor, and just shut up.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Christine and Cody. Do you know what I mean? Like when Cody's freaking out and Christine's just looking at him like, mm-hmm. Because Christine had been prepped by Truly. Truly had... Christine had been working on, this guy's going to freak out, so I got to be calm. But that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. So then they got it, but then they turned to Jess, and she... she continued the roasting.
Yeah, but and I feel like if anyone's going to roast him, it's her. She's the one that, and I think that what he did was that I think he lied. Like he did lie, and he might say, no, I didn't lie, but you showed her one side of you, and then you became another person when you were around these people, and then you became another person, and then you're back to this. And I think she was very right on when she said he has issues with confidence and bravado, and he's this way with some people and other ways with other, and there's a massive insecurity around finances.
Right.
I think she's very right on with all of that's what was going on. And I do believe that he was very different with her, in their own way. And then, he's doing all this other stuff behind the scenes that she doesn't even see until later.
But also too, I think that once they got back to, because it was once they got back to Ohio and he saw her home and, realized like how much more, financially stable she was, that just really set him off. And he's like, I can't compete with this, because he thinks, he's the man, he's got and she said, he has these deep insecurities about money and apparently has unstable finances.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to say that, that had nothing to do with it. And he just said the truth was he was immature and he put physical attraction over emotional connections. So he's taking accountability. He apologizes. He says, it's tough to watch the way that I treated you. So I don't know what more there is.
Yeah.
But then there's this, and they cut back. Of course, they want to jab him one more time, and they cut to this scene from one of the mixer conversations. And I can't remember who he's saying this to, but he's saying, she's hot, but I just want someone who works out.
Oh, was this when he was in the bathroom?
I don't know. I didn't understand that bathroom thing. Like,
yeah, I think he had his mic on in the bathroom and he was talking to someone, but maybe this is a different.
Oh, was that what conversation? I thought this was at the mixer.
Well, and I also think he was intimidated by her finances, but I also think something happens when people, right? The Pods is a bubble. Mm-hmm. Mexico is the same bubble, same people. Right. You're just moving it to a different location, same bubble. I think it's when they go back home, and they had been back home a couple days. And I think, honestly, yes, I think he was intimidated. He's got bravado issues. He's got insecurity issues. And I think he also was like, oh crap, am I ready to move in with this woman who has a 4-bedroom house? And this is my life now. And it's suburbia. And, I think there was that other part too, like just like with Jordan.
Yeah.
Of, oh, wait a minute. I'm not ready to give up my happening single life.
Right.
So
even though I've been lying to you and telling you
I
want to get married, but okay.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
All right. So back to Gigi.
Well, no, hold on. Oh, yeah, back to Gigi.
Yeah,
Sorry.
she's in the audience. And we see Haramol.
Haramol.
Is that how you say it? Haramol.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. And he was the one when we were going through the men's profiles that we liked him the best.
Yeah, we did. We liked to think he was a doctor.
Yeah.
And I think his pants hit the ground. I mean, or maybe they were a little
and he had
short.
a nice smile. And
He
just
did,
had
and
good
he was
energy.
normal. Yeah, he
Yeah.
had good energy, he had good things to say. And obviously, so we learn that Harmol is dating someone who's on the stage. And it's like, ooh, who is it? Who is it? Now, did you have a sense of who it was?
I had seen something on social media about it.
I first thought, I was like, oh, they're both doctors. Maybe it's Jessica. And then I thought, what was my other thought? Maybe Emma. I don't know. There was someone else. I was like, well, maybe it's this person. But anyway, it's Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And these two are just in such goddamn love. They are having the most loving, mature, healthy relationship there is to have, people.
Yeah. He's her Haramol. I'm sorry to butcher your name, because you're a nice guy. He's just very emotionally stable, mature. Not threatened, obviously.
Yeah,
because doctors can have some big egos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he just seems like a sweetheart, and I hope they make it.
Yeah. I do too. I mean, I think he obviously says he loves her. He's obviously very good to her. And, I'm happy. I'm happy for her. I really am. And listen, they're doctors. They're going to combine their 4-bedroom houses, have a bunch of money with the babies, and be doctors in love. So, and they always have something to talk about with each other. I mean, they just seem, but I guess we find out that Harmol, he left the experiment. Like, because I was thinking, well, didn't you date Jessica as well? How did you two miss each other? And
no, I think they did. I think they did meet in the pods.
No, they did. But I think Harmol left early.
Oh.
He left the experiment early. You know why? Because he realized, wow, to commit to someone for life and to honor that in such a casual way, I think he didn't feel like that was okay. He didn't want to do that to a woman. He didn't want to do that to somebody. And I was like, oh, okay. Says a lot about you. Okay. And so he left. But that's why I was wondering. I was like, why didn't you guys, he never made your list or so. Okay.
Well, it all worked out.
Yes.
It all worked out. Okay.
All right.
So Mike and Emma.
Yes.
This is odd. Emma is odd.
Yeah. Yes. There is something about this.
Yeah. Well, this is another one where he said they talked about it before, agreed to both say no and continue to date.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she said yes, he was surprised.
Yes.
And he felt blindsided. And she said that she loved him and wanted to confess it, and that she knew that they would have kids. And she felt like by her saying yes, it was a declaration for kids. But he didn't take it that way.
Yeah, no shit. Who did? You just said yes. You didn't say you didn't say.
She didn't even mention kids.
No. You needed to mention kids. You need to be like, I'm saying I love you because I am committed to having children.
Right. And I want to have children with you someday, whatever.
Yes. Which also makes me wonder, is that really her intention at the time? Because now you can very easily say, yeah, I wanted to have kids because you're not committed to it now. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You can make up that story. But that is odd. Like, why would you think that he would interpret that way? But I think that at the end of the day, so we meet the woman, Tara, that Mike is dating, spitting image of his mother. Spitting. I'm sorry. Mom, and it was a little bit like, I think this is much more of what Mike wants. And I bet you these two are trying to have kids right now. You know what I mean? She much more, I think, suited him.
Yeah, no, he's very mature. He knew he didn't fall for the okie doke here. He said it was too much of a switch up.
Yeah.
This thing that Emma was doing. And and it was very manipulative of her, I think.
Yeah.
Played with his emotions, and he just didn't fall for it. Good for him. And now Mike, there's a lot of fish in the sea.
Yeah, a lot of women that want to have babies too, that really want to have kids and build a life and do all of this. And again, I said this before, I still think that Mike didn't want, I think the other reason was that Mike didn't like the idea that she was on the fence. Mike wants to be with a woman that absolutely wants to be a mother.
And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great when people know what they want and they are able to say that and go for it, go after it.
The other one is, though, did you notice that when we meet Tara, like Emma looks really hurt? Like, I don't know if Emma knew he was dating someone. And I think that maybe she thought that they would date afterwards. Like, it sounds like there was something there where she wanted to kind of keep going and doing this. And it sounds like maybe he was like, yeah, no, I'm done, I think. And which was the right move for him, for sure. Because if he kept doing this, he would still be doing it with her. But she looked I was surprised how hurt she looked. Which was hard. I mean, it's shocking. I can imagine it was shocking for her, and that's not fun.
Yeah.
All right. Ashley and Alex. Well, we've talked a bit about them.
Yes. I thought it was interesting that, everybody else, made an effort to dress up. Alex is just in a polo shirt. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He had
Maybe
a very
his bags got lost.
attitude.
His luggage is in Austin.
Right.
He's here for a couple hours.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he did. He said, I felt like I was being at that dinner, the dinner and subsequent meals and time with Ashley. I felt like I was being cross-examined. And he said this. He said, I didn't feel like I was being given a chance. And I do think that is, again, cross-examining someone, how someone shows up in court is not who they are as a human being. And so by the dad putting him on the defensive immediately, you're kind of creating the situation where he is going to be on the back foot the whole time and feeling a little bit like, I better have an answer for you.
Right.
And also, Paul, you never stopped and said to him, hey, I'm not looking for a perfect answer. Or like, well, let's explore that together. No, you shot question after question after question.
Right. It was deliberate. It was to try to throw. Ashley told him, look, I don't know about some of his stories. And, I want to make sure he's not like a player and he's not going to cheat on me. And so, she set him up. She told her dad all those things. Yeah. And that's why he was asking the questions he was asking. This was not a coincidence. They set him up and they did it. And it was really shitty. And he said, he's like, can you point to the gaps?
Yeah.
He said, your story keeps changing. He's like, well, what? Tell me specifically. What were the changes? And he said he never lied. Ashley just really didn't understand him, didn't understand his life. And I don't think he lied. I don't think he always told her the full truth. And I think he's got a vulnerability. Because he knew she would get upset because she's so insecure. People who are like so afraid of someone cheating on them like that are insecure. Ashley, you're not this badass you think you are. You are an insecure little girl who has to have her daddy go and, fight her battles or do whatever. I mean, she's really...
Well, yeah. And if you keep meeting people that are cheating on you, again, that's a you problem, actually, not anybody else's. And we talked about how we thought that she had rehearsed that speech, that was not off. And she confirms that she had written it and showed it to her friend. So let's also think that several days up until the wedding day, you were writing this, you were writing this and putting it together and finalizing it, memorizing it for this. So why is he the bad guy then? Like, do you know what I mean? You were lying to him too, because you were on the romantic couch, by the fire, being romantic with him. Like, you were not any better at this. Like, again, both of them were lying to each other in that moment, but it was like, you're not better. You're doing the same thing. It's just you feel justified in it because you've been hurt by a man in the past.
Didn't he say that they had agreed ahead of time to both say no?
Well, I think he said that he knew she was going to say no. But again, Ashley, and she confirms this too. She needed to be the one to say it.
Right.
She needed to be first. And she was going to be first no matter what.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we were wondering, God, where's Alex going to end up? Florida, Arizona. Arizona. They're both the education in both of those states.
The education system.
Yes, the education
system. It doesn't matter now. He's not getting married or having kids anytime soon, I guess.
But he's living in Arizona and he's got a new roommate. Dun, da, da, dun. Devo. And we see this, I guess, Devo trying to score points, Alex being a goalie. And I loved Nick Lachey for saying this. He was like, whoa, what happened? Where was this Devo on the show? We saw more animation in real life there than anything we've gotten here.
Yeah, that's how much he hated Brittany. Because the minute he got away from her, he was like a whole new man.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, that's weird. But so if he's currently living in Arizona with Alex, but he has a pregnant girlfriend, fiance. Where is she living? She
maybe Ohio, maybe not. Again, I think that Devontae tells himself, I don't lie to people, but I don't think he realizes that it's not just words, it's actions. And your actions were lying to her. So even though you said, no, I want to be together, or you said that over and over again,
right,
doesn't mean that it was true.
No, he was doing everything he possibly could to hopefully get her to break up with him first.
Yeah.
He was not being affectionate towards her, even when she would ask for it. He was not spending time with her. He was just like, God, what do I have to do to get this girl to break up with me? And nothing worked. And he had to get down to the final day. And I'm like, he's like, well, I guess she's not going to break up with me. So now I have to break up with her. Yeah. And he didn't even have the guts to break up with her. It was like, well, I'm just not ready today.
Maybe next week,
maybe some other time. Yeah. Well, but, she was, I'm sorry, Brittany, grow up. The fact that she allowed this to be, she allowed him to string her along all that time. And then even at the very end, we're still engaged, right? We're still getting married, right? All of that. It's like, do you have no pride?
Well, but they did ask her because they did say to Ashley, they, either Nick or Vanessa was like, Brittany, sorry. Hey, it seems like you just kind of wanted to get married. Is that true? And she was like, no. I was deeply in love with Devo and with Devontae. And again, I think that this might be Brittany's pattern, right? Where she meets someone and no matter what the person's giving her, whether it's good or bad, she's, what's the clouded glasses or whatever,
rose-colored glasses.
Thank you. Rose-colored glasses. Because she kept saying what he would say to her was different than what he said on the camera. So it's like either he is uber manipulative and he really did sell something to her off camera, on camera. What I wonder is, in her mind, did she think these things were happening off camera? But really he was distant then too. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And she's upset. She was like, well, I wasn't a shadow. I gave him tons of space. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure you did. But your presence in general was the thing that he didn't want.
Right. Yeah. And then 2.5 weeks after filming, she called him and said, if you don't want a relationship, just tell me. And he still said, he said no. Was that, no, I don't want a relationship?
No, he said, no, we're still together.
Yeah.
And then he said he was going on a business trip. Again, Devontae.
The work trip.
He's going on a business trip, work trip. Devontae, again, cannot be honest. He can't be, he does have an honesty problem. So he's not honest with her about what happened. And it turns out that he went to Austin to go to some concert with Bree, Ashley, and Priyanka, who are also this 3 women that were talking to Chris at the bar that night.
And
then Priyanka and Ashley left. So same 3.
Yeah. And then he told them that he and Brittany had broken up.
Yeah. Because again, Devontae doesn't want to deal with hard things.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to tell Brittany that they're not going to get married. He doesn't want to tell her I'm going on this trip with these other women. He doesn't want to tell her anything. And when he gets backed into a corner and he doesn't want to say anything, he lies as a way of just getting out of the conversation. And I think he justifies that to himself. Because I was backed into a corner. It's like, so, but I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, there's girl code and how, and I was like, God, maybe I'm not. Like, I always found all this stuff to be so a lot, which is it really girl code? I mean, I feel like, is it on these women to have done the research? Like,
right.
He's saying that we're together and she knows everything about it. Like, what are the 3 of them supposed to do?
Right. You're supposed to call Brittany and verify his story. Yeah. No, it's like, who gives a shit? Because he crashed at Priyanka's Airbnb, and Brittany's like, that's some violation of girl code. And it's like, bitch, you're not even with him. you don't even.
But she
thought you don't realize it, but but you're not together. When was the last time you saw him? Like a month and a half ago.
On the wedding. That was the last time she had seen him, was on the wedding day, where he stopped by for 45 minutes to let you know he was done, packed up all his shit and left. And so, I mean, again, yes, technically were the 2 of you together? Yes. But
just because he hadn't technically broken up with you yet, but I mean, the writing is on the wall. That's what Brittany's delusional. She's really is. And then we have Daryl, who's here in the audience. And again, I think this is totally inappropriate. He lectures Devontae and claims to care about him. And it's like, keep the parents out of this. These are adults. And Daryl, you are as dumb as Brittany, because Devontae snowed you as well.
This whole thing I wrote down, this is a little much. Like, first off, I hate it when people say, when you turn to someone and say, you need to get help. Guess what? Guess the fuck what?
So do you.
They aren't going to do it, because you saying to someone, you. And if anyone's ever been in couples counseling, it's I. You're right. I feel. I mean, I think if Daryl wanted to say something, like you say, I feel, he should have said something like, I'll be honest with you, I felt really hurt. I felt that you seemed really connected with Brittany, and it was hard to watch these things. And I just wanted to let you know that it hurt me, and it hurt me, to see that with my daughter. Okay, that's very different. But saying you need help, people are, you're destroying people that don't deserve it. And, asking him, did you lie to me? It's like, yeah, he did. He was lying to himself. He was lying to everybody. Were you ready to marry my daughter when I asked you were ready to marry my daughter? And all of that stuff. You have no business. You have no business lecturing anybody, Daryl. You just don't. I'm sorry. You don't.
No, you shouldn't be there.
That's not your job.
No. And yeah. So then it gets revealed that Devontae is in a relationship. He's engaged, and he's going to be a father this year.
Yes. Very exciting.
And he says he has a house in Ohio, but it's unclear if he's actually living there.
Or in Arizona. I don't know. Do you think he'll bring the new wife and baby to Arizona because of the school systems? The school change?
You know what? I don't think that he and the new girlfriend, fiance will even be together when that kid starts school. So
probably not.
I think it'll be up to the mother, like where she wants to live.
Because he asked, he's like, "Are you together? Your girlfriend engaged?" And I think he was like, "What do I need to say to seem engaged?" Do you know what I mean? There is like, Devontae, you really have a problem with this. Like, with responding in the way in which you think others want you to respond.
Right. And he's the most dishonest person on this show. Yeah. Because he does.
Chris was very dishonest too. I mean, to present yourself as one person and then really present yourself as another person.
Yeah, but Devontae lies about such critical elements of, like his life. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. Chris probably doesn't do the cold plunge every morning. He lies too, but I don't know. I don't know who's worse. It's like a Faustian, Hobbesian choice here.
All right. Well, this next segment I thought was very sweet. I have to say, because I hate when they go into the audience and meeting we talked about that before, about how, let's just move on from these couples. And so we see Zach and Bliss, and we all know Zach and Bliss. They had quite the love story. And they have a daughter. And so I guess Zach's grandmother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She passed away. Obviously, Zach was very close with her. So I guess the grandmother recorded a video of what they were having to play on the show.
It's a gender reveal.
Gender reveal. And I thought this was very sweet. I was like, oh, this is so nice. I liked it.
It's very touching.
They're having a boy.
And they reminded us that Zach's mom, this is part of his, origin story. His mom died when, I think when he was really young.
Oh, that's right. And he's close with grandma.
Raised him. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot. Yeah. So he's very close to her and very upset that his son's not going to meet his grandmother.
Yeah.
I'm sure his name will have some part of the grandmother in there. But I just thought it was sweet. They seem so happy. They seem so happy together. So I'm happy for them. And Lauren and Cameron, I guess, had a really hard time conceiving, I guess. So I'm happy that they're happy, had their baby. So
yeah. So then we go back to Vic and Christine. And they ask, do you have any pet peeves? And this is all he could come up with.
Yes, these pet peeves are, boy.
Oh gosh, I don't know if they're going to make it because Christine, she just has so many socks.
Too many socks.
And it's unbelievable.
And she likes to wear socks to bed. And I too like to wear socks to bed, but I know that this is a thing with people. Like some people
can't wear socks.
They won't wear, and there's other people that can't have their feet under the covers. Like the feet have to be outside the covers, but I need socks because it makes me crazy if I don't have socks, unless it's super hot out. But I just think it's just so funny. And then I thought that was really funny what Vanessa said. She's like, well, was she not wearing the socks? She gets into bed. You know what that means. And I'm like, whoa, you're right. And then Vic, you know what Vic's up to?
What?
Angry Birds. Sometimes he plays too much Angry Birds.
Yeah. Sometimes she comes home from work and he's just sitting there playing Angry Birds. And it's like, oh, Vic. You wild and crazy guy.
I know. Well, but they ask him, like, how is your life? They ask, like, how has your life changed? I can't remember her response as much as his. His really struck me. It was like, I'm here to serve God and I'm here to serve Christine. I'm like, oh, Vic, this is, you know what to say.
Yeah, he's smooth. He said Christine is a gift and she's his greatest responsibility.
Yes. Like, ooh.
Okay, men out there.
Yes.
Like any of you are listening to this, but take note of some of these. You could use some of these lines, courtesy of Vic.
Yeah. But yeah.
So then we have a little and sort of a commercial here where TurboTax.
Yes.
Since Vic and Christine didn't get to go to Mexico, TurboTax is paying for a honeymoon in honor of being able to file married for the first time. And also TurboTax is going to do their taxes.
Yay! Listen, I thought this was, whoever came up with this product placement was very smart. Some intern at that company watches Love is Blind or some assistant and said, it would be relatively inexpensive for you to do this. And I bet you they would just do it. And there you go. It's in front of all these people. Yeah. Because that's nothing they're owned by Intuit. So it's like, yeah, that's a great way to promote your stuff. And they were like, but the tax guy won't be at the honeymoon. At first I was like, oh dear God, is someone from TurboTax going It's
Some
not a
guy in
honeymoon.
three-piece suit, and he's got like his calculator and his pencils, and
Well, can you imagine the two of them? They're in bathing suits and hats, and they're in the hotel room with this guy, like, adding everything together.
he's
They're
like,
just
"Do you have
desperate
any charitable donations this year that you can deduct? How about did you sell any stocks or dividends?"
Yeah. Oh Lordy! And then two people performed that I'd never heard of in my entire
people.
Forrest Black and Joy Williams. I'm like, who are these people? And what are they singing? Honestly, I think I just fast forwarded or tuned out. I really had no idea.
The song is called The Proof.
Oh, The Proof. Okay. I should have listened to it.
Yeah. It's a terrible name for a song. And I don't know. I guess it was supposed to be about love. I don't know. I tuned out. I was just like, what is happening?
Well, I was just like, who is this guy? And he's coming behind the reveal.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, are you revealing each other to each other? It was very odd. The whole thing is it just made me very uncomfortable. So
it was very weird too, because, we're used to seeing like these really attractive people on Love is Blind. And then these two.
What? You don't think that they weren't that bad?
Well, average people come out of the pod things and they're singing to each other.
You're not used to these average looking people.
No, not in the pods.
No.
Very different. But they didn't give us any sneak peek about the next season, like where it's going to be, or they usually do that. They announce the city.
Yeah.
And they might bring a couple of people on to.
Well, I think Peggy sent us a message about, I guess there was another season. I don't know if it was Boston.
Oh, Boston. Yeah.
But apparently no one got married. So this is why they were really hanging their hat on Vic and Christine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they aired this one because they knew they had a successful marriage. And so maybe they're just hoping Boston, what are they going to release Boston and pretend like it didn't happen? I don't know. But maybe they're feeling like they're in a bit of hot water with everything going on. I don't know. I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, it's a flawed show, and I don't know. I don't like how these reunions have become kind of housewifey and,
Yeah, no, it's true, because these people, well, I mean, I was going to say they come on the show, with the intention of getting married, but I don't even know if that's true anymore. I mean, I think a lot of people like Devontae, come on because they think that they're going to become an influencer or get Instagram follows or.
Well, but I do think there are people that come on there that want to get married, but I think the thing is that they really don't. The problem is that they get there and the people who are intentional and pick someone there where they feel like, okay, this could work, like we're aligned with things. But what happens is it becomes a little bit of the Ashley and Alex, like you get blinders on and you feel like this is my only choice in life. So I need to make it work with this person and I need to say these things. And again, in those pods, I believe all those people believe those things. I really, really do. Yeah. I do believe they believe those things. I think they believed all of them. And I think it was when reality hit. Because again, love is not enough. Love, attraction, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that the two of you are going to make it living together.
Yeah. No, it does not.
No.
Well, it was a good season.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't very successful, it was entertaining.
It was, we had some characters, we had some drama, we had some people to laugh at and make fun of.
Yeah.
So that's a wrap on season 10.
All right.
Love is Blind, people. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. There's lots of ways to support our show. You can leave us a 5-star rating and review. You can tell a friend, tell 2 friends or 3 friends. You can follow us on social media. We're Psych Legal Pop on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, lots of different places. So please follow us and
subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. Please subscribe. Yes. All right. I think that's it.
And if you want more of us.
Oh, yes. If you want. Sorry.
We do have Patreon. Extra content. And,
yes.
You can head out onto Patreon, look us up at Psych Legal Pop Podcast and see what we have to offer.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellows wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey, it's Christy.
And I'm Kelly.
You might remember us as the OG partners in crime from Dance Moms.
Well, this is Back to the Bar, the podcast where we drag out every insane, chaotic, and iconic moment from the show.
We're spilling the tea, calling out all the BS, and sharing stuff you definitely didn't see on TV.
New episodes drop every week, and yes, we're laughing through the drama.
For once. Follow, grab a drink, and join us as we go back to the bar.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.